Hey everybody, today we're going to be going over the War of Odinium. We're going to be doing this live, so if I misspeak or I make some um, errors, just kind of bear with me here because you only get one chance every 2 weeks for this. And I want to do this live because a lot of this event you can't just recap. So the first thing you need to know is to join the War of Odinium, you have to contact your leader and sign up to be in the war. Or if your leader decides who's in the war without that, then it basically comes down to the leader to decide who's in the war. There are 30 people that are in the first team, and then the second team are for members to join that will fill slots. The next thing you need to know is you cannot have when the event starts, you'll see a countdown to when it starts. You can't have any troops training, any troops marching, or any troops that are wounded. So make sure you clear all that up before you go in. Then once you find it, once that's all good, you can go enter the battlefield for the event. If you have any of those troops training or healing or anything like that, at this point it's going to yell at you that, hey, you have that and you can't join. The very first thing that happens, usually there's a 5-minute buffer from that time that the event ends. So you want to send it to these fortresses and similar things. We're actually on the top. So you'll see on your mini map here, you'll see there is your little green, oh, sorry, I messed that up. There's a little green dot that represents you. You're either on the top half, which is the blue half, or the bottom half, which is the red half. So from there, you have to capture the different points of interest. So there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 points of interest. I believe it's 7 on each side of the battlefield. Actually, I think there might be more. Sorry, I might have misspoke there. 8, 12, 15, 18 points of interest. So 9 on each half of the battlefield. Want to let you guys know that there are some that are more important than others, and there are some that you can actually win this whole event without doing a lot. Another thing you will want to do, and I didn't do that before I came in, you want to activate if you have paint buffs, you'll want to activate those. You can remember these stack so you can activate 2 at once, which will cover the full hour of war. If you have Villers, you'll want to also activate her skill, but as you can see, you don't have a hero thing, so you need to activate that before you get in here. So the next important thing that if you want to be able to port out of a protected area, so when you first start, you get dropped into a protected area. This protected area you cannot be attacked within. So you can see that is kind of there isn't any of those like bright blue lines, but it is designed so that these little mountains here that you can see as I'm scrolling across the entire screen, that is the protected area. So anything behind that, whether you're on the top or the bottom, cannot be attacked. So those bases up there cannot be attacked right now. So if we go back to my base, you'll see I'm behind the mountain, so I'm safe. Now, if I was to port into this side of the mountain, then I would be able to be base attacked, and they'd be able to wound all my troops. All troops in this event are, you could say, fake troops. So if you do die, don't worry about it. Don't worry about healing and stuff like that. You will get these troops back. So just something to think about. Um, so each point of interest is given a certain amount of points. You can find that by clicking on the point of interest and then hitting the little I. Oh, and that actually doesn't, it says it right in front of your face. I apologize for that. So you'll get a 30 individual score for this building and 120 alliance score. So the alliance score is what you're worried about for winning the event. Whereas the individual score, you'll get points and you'll want to do as best you can. But you don't need to necessarily worry about that. So you'll see I'm going to quickly send to all these buildings here because these buildings are those important buildings I was talking about. I don't want to send those out yet. I'm going to save my Valhalla units for later just because I know how crucial those can be. And I got more to tell you here in a second, but like I said, I need to get these sent out just so we don't miss out on helping the team. So these frontline bases are the most important buildings. If you control all 4 of these, you'll see these are 300 points each. So one of these frontline buildings is worth 2 of these fortresses. You have these transfer stations, which are worth 150, so it's also worth 2 of those. And you have these tech centers, which are 150 points, so it's worth 2 of those. So if you control all 4 of the frontline bases, and you control one, I believe it's one of these tech centers or the transfer stations for the entire war, you will win. There's no way to overcome that amount of points, even if they control everything else. And let me just do some quick math. So 3, 3, 3, 3. So that's 1200, 1350. So if they do 3, 3, 3, 3. Yeah. So if you control all 4 of those and one of the transfer stations or one of the tech centers, you will win the war. Just kind of something to keep in mind there. Oh, I think I'm sending to a march that, yeah, that's not a good march. Which one is that? This one? Oh, I don't want to kill my march. So you'll see that our team's really, really focused on those. Another thing we focus on are these transfer stations. So what these transfer stations are is as you hold the building, you will get 1 teleport opportunity for every 180 seconds you control it. So if you want to be able to leave from behind that mountain, you have to control one of these. That's the first part. The second part is you have to have accumulated transfers. So you can see here behind the big scrolly, you'll see it says 1 of 20 and 10 of 20. 10 of 20 is how many teleports you have, whereas they only have 1 of 20. So you can see that we're controlling those transfer stations to kind of keep the opponent from being able to leave their area. That's very, very important for this because if you think about it, if you can't leave the area, there's not a lot you can do. It makes it a lot more challenging because you have a lot longer march for everything. So another thing I would highly suggest doing is scouting before you go blind attacking people, because as you can see, he has 98 troops here. I definitely can't take that by myself, so I have to leave that for somebody bigger than me. Some other things is there is this supply thing here. Once that drops, I'll show you how that works and functions, and I'm going to try to get some more troops out. So whether you are playing for the win or playing for individual points, you want to make sure that you're controlling these points of interest. That's the most important part of this game. Do I have anything? I have one in here. If you're not controlling the points of interest, you're not going to win, and you're not actually going to get that many points. You can get a lot of points from killing, but you get a lot more points if you are holding these stations. And you'll see right now I'm just sending little baby marches because I'm not going to be paying active attention to these, so I don't want to have my troops die if I'm not actually paying attention. So we have 4 minutes left on that. Right around the time at the end of that supply thing, I will call it good. You'll see in my battle reports, I did lose a battle right here. They sent 3 heroes, so they're a pretty advanced player, being that they already have the 3 heroes, and they have Katyusha and Ben. So there's nothing I would be able to do to that. Even if I had 3 heroes, that's a pretty strong march there, and they probably have max components and everything too. But so I have some weak troops or wounded troops, so you can come into this bottom right hand corner, the little medical bag, and you can click and you can repair all. There is no way to repair just one that I can see right now. So if you hit repair all, you'll see this is going to take, and yet again it's hidden behind the scroll thing. It's a really bad spot for that. Behind here it says 06, 49, 28. Maybe I can write that somewhere else. 06, 49, 28. That means that I have almost 7 hours of repairing. That you're not going to be able to do that in the time of this war. This is why I'm saying don't worry about repairing them if you don't need them. If you have a lot of speed ups, you can use your repair speed ups here. And if you only use little chunks of them, it will repair 1 or 2 troops at a time. So it's just kind of something to keep in mind. So you can just click it, hit speed up, and if I want to just repair that 1 troop, boom, that 1 troop's back. If you want to repair everything, You hit all speed up, and it shows you 715 hours of speed ups. That's a lot of speed ups for an event. I highly suggest not doing that, but like I said, your account, your decisions. So just something to keep in mind. Da, da, da. So this guy here seems like he is quite strong. He's base attacking some of our stronger players. And I'm trying to just see if we can see where these guys are coming from. So they still don't have any ports. They only have one transfer station right now, which means they can only teleport to one place. I'm just trying to see which building I'm not in right now. Oh, I'm not in this one, so I'm gonna send my full march here. So you can see anybody that's saying was defeated by, that means that they ported outside of the safe area. Highly suggest only allowing the big guys to do that. It makes no sense to have smaller players port outside because all that's going to happen is you're wasting the ports and you're making so your big players aren't able to move around and do what they need to do. So this ticker, kind of a nuisance in the spot it is because it's always in the way of that score. So the only way to see what the score is to go in here, where you can see up at the top 4,375 to 2,750. So right now we're currently winning. You can see we're getting 650 points a minute while they're getting 450, and we have 22 members to their 21. So all in all, it's a pretty fair and balanced war. We haven't had any that were, I mean, some of the early ones were mismatches, but when it comes to like participation and stuff, it has been pretty fairly matched. And we just lost this one here, so you can see all the marches going away. Let's see what it says. Who attacked us? So, so yeah, like I said, you can control these 4 frontline bases in one of these transfer stations, and if you just sit in those, you'll win. So if you have 4 big guys, 5 big guys, you could each have your main march in one of those, and you guys, I mean, for the most part, won't be touched. They can catch for everything else. And this is just doing quick math here, so I may be wrong. Actually, after this, I'll do the math just to make sure for everybody that I'm telling you the accurate information. Just kind of to see what you would actually need to control. Yeah, so that's 150. And now you can see we're starting to lose a lot of points of interest here. Do we have our big guys on? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like all our big guys are in here. So that's good that the whole team showed up. Oh man. That guy just hit our biggest players, so might be time. So this thing pops up here, and what you have to do is you have to send marches to attack it. Whoever attacks it, so each successful attack takes 5% of the HP from the truck, and whoever KOs the truck will take over this truck and attack an opposing facility, dealing 20% damage and repelling the troops. Basically, you get to use that to take over any building you want. So I'm going to send all the marches I have available just to kind of help my team out. Something to note with this event, you can't speed march, so that's why it's kind of important to have those transfer stations and to have teleports. So the big pay-to-win players and even the free-to-play that save their marches from the Warhammers or their march speed-ups, you can't just speed march everywhere you want to go. So, so you'll see we're sitting here. The HP is going down pretty quickly. I don't even know if my marches are going to make it here in time with how fast everybody's coming in. We're at 25%. Yeah. My game keeps clicking on that march. I'm sorry. So you'll see Dragon got the march. So what that's going to do right now is that's going to come over here and attack the closest thing. So there's nobody in here, so it's kind of a bummer. But if there was anybody in there, what that would allow us to do is to get this frontline base a lot easier. So there's one other thing I didn't show you. There are nodes here. I want you all to realize these nodes aren't the best. This is kind of more just a bonus thing. So for a troop with 100k low, every 1 minute gains 1 gem. Each gem gained will also gain you individual points. So these aren't very fast, and if you notice, there's only 20 gems in that one tile. And if you were to send to one of those tiles, let me just see if I can find one that's close so I don't hurt my team too much. Because I'm going to have to jump off here and actually start participating. Not that I can do anything to that big guy, but just having extra marches sending around, that big person can only be in one spot at one time. That's Roxer. He or she can only be in one spot at one time. So I don't want to be doing this too long. Let's see if we can get somebody. We'll send this march here quick. So that's a 45-second march. So yeah, we gotta really focus on these facilities here because they are not holding the frontline bases very long or well. I'm gonna send my full march there, and you can see we have people that are for some reason are porting outside. That's really not advisable, and like I said, it just there's no reason for it. They can march 45 seconds to get to the objectives, whereas now they just lost all their troops for the event, and whether they decide to use the speed ups or not, that's up to them. But that's about all you can do at this point. So for us, we're kind of going to be playing defensive here. This Roxer is very, very powerful, and it looks like we're facing an older server, being that they have a lot of 80s here. Let's go look behind their thing. So even behind their thing, they got 77, 79. And I might be wrong. They might not be an older server. They might just be a powerful server that's newer. But I'm guessing, based on our previous wars, this server is somewhere in the 800s, which means that they probably have 5 to 6 months extra of growing than us, which may not seem like a lot, but when it comes to getting components and skills, it really, really provides that unfair war going on. Let's just kind of peek in here. So this person's this person has level 81 troops, so they're definitely going to be an 80, and they have level 5 rear march, level 4, level 4. Yeah, so just looking at their components, this server is definitely an older server. You don't get those just components unless you're a big spender or you have a lot of extra time to acquire those via events and daily challenges and things like that. So with that, I'm going to jump off now. Just going to kind of show maybe I'll let a battle run here, so to kind of talk about strategy for these again. So we'll let this one run actually. This seems like a good one. So you definitely, with this event, you need to work as a team, and like I said, those points you definitely are the ones you want to focus on. Um, Another reminder for me to jump in and kind of explain which ones you would actually need to control. It might be the forefront line and another thing, but we'll double check here after this little battle. So I'm up on top. He's on the bottom attacking, and as you can see, even though he's attacking me, he lost. And a big reason to that, I'm gonna guess, is he only has a level 9 fire rate, and he's attacking me with a level 10. So that means I get to attack first. That's a huge advantage. Plus, he attacked me with Basil and Tywin, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but he might just be doing the quick clicks like I have been doing for this video, where you click quick deploy and it automatically sends it out. So I'm going to find a nice dark spot. Sorry, I'm just finding a spot that'll make this easier to read as I write. So if you control all the frontline things, that's 300 times 4, and then plus 150. So that's 1,350 points. So that's for these, we'll just say these 5 buildings. So now if I take the rest of the buildings, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at 120. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 150. Oh, come on, don't disappear on me. We have... So actually, you're going to need to take over 2 of those transfer towers or tech centers. So you need to control 4 of those and then 2 of these other buildings because there's 7 of those. So yeah, so this is what? 1770. So if we flip that 300 points, that puts that... Sorry, if we take off 150 and add 150, you might actually need to take over another one. They might have added a building in here since I last did this. So, 1620. Then we add 150 here. So you actually need to control 7 buildings now. So they have definitely changed this. When we first joined the War of Odinium here, it was only the 5 front lines. So you need the 4 front lines, and then you need 3 of these 150 point per minute value places. So whether it's the transfer stations or the tech centers, it doesn't matter which ones, but that's what you would need to win the war. So you can win controlling just 7. You don't have to control all 9 on your side. You don't have to control all of them. With that, I hope you all have a wonderful day and evening. Looks like we're definitely on the rebound here. So I hope you all enjoy. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and